Greetings. Welcome to Armand Bayou Nature Center. We are located in Pasadena, southeast of Houston, near Clear Lake, on the shores of Armand Bayou, formerly Middle Bayou. Founded in 1974, Armand Bayou is some 2,000 plus acres of urban protected land, rife with riparian woods, coastal prairies, interpretive and educational buildings, and miles of trails. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the Houston area had one of the largest pieces of wildland? Said Hannah Ginsberg, leader of the coalition to found this center. This also seemed the perfect choice to name and recognize renowned naturalist Armand Aramatagui. Armand was a planetarium curator, engineer, astronomer, and self-trained naturalist. Championing preservation of open spaces was one of his many goals. Please read more of this rich history on ABNC's website under the Nature as Normal blog. Some Native Plant Society members have graciously selected some sites to view and briefly discuss some native flora. Please join us on a short walk and talk. The buttonbush, Cephalanthus occidentalis. It's a member of the coffee family, Rubiaceae. From full sun to parched shade, tolerant of wet soils, so good for rain gardens or water margins. Fast growing with multiple branches from the base, green glossy leaves, and white pincushion-like flower heads. In the heat of summer, presently, it attracts a myriad of insects and butterflies to the nectar, and the nutlet seeds attract winter birds. Hey, look, over here by the Cephalanthus. It's hibiscus lasiocarpus, the woolly mallow. Of course, in the mallow family. As we've mentioned tactile before, sometimes take off your gloves and you'll see why it is so named. Beautiful in pink and white. Here we have the American beautyberry, Calocarpa americana. Calocarpa means beautiful fruit, of which we have some here. This is a shrub that grows well in the shade of a tree. It can grow 6 to 8 feet high. Flowers are insignificant in the spring, but are good nectar producers, especially for spring bees. There are several chemicals found in the leaves that seem to have mosquito repellent properties. The fall berries are eaten by birds and small mammals, and also can be made into mauve jelly or jam. It is in the verbena family. Also here in the Hanson House garden, next to the beautyberry, is inland sea oats, Chasmanthium latifolium. That means the cracked or fisher flower. Notice the oats of the inland sea oats. It's a ground cover grass for shady areas. The dangling seed head looks like pine cones pressed flat with an iron. It returns year after year and seeds out freely. The winter brown seeds are eaten by cardinals and deer. Clumps can be mowed or cut down in early spring to clean up if desired. Recognizable to most is this fern. This is a native Dryopteris, or the wood fern. It can add texture to a shade garden. It is semi-evergreen and cut back in early spring, if you prefer. It prefers moist conditions but can stand dry periods. In a large setting, it can be used as tall ground cover. Wood fern. Even though recently sheared, this Barbados cherry is still showing some flowers right here, although no cherries at the moment. It's a medium-sized, thick canopy shrub, which can be used as a screening plant. It can also be considered a mid-story shrub when planted as an understory to taller trees. Small pink flowers appear off and on between April and November, and a small fruit called a cherry is produced, although it has hard seeds in the interior, unlike other cherries. The fruit is very high in vitamin C and is also called azarola. The fruit provides food for fruit-eating birds most of the year. Scientific name, Malpia emarginata. Hey, over here at Mays Pond at Armand Bayou, a bald cypress, Taximodium disticum. Notice the trunk, very distinguishing. Also associated with bald cypresses are the famous knees. What are they for? I've heard many theories. The one that I go with mostly is that when they grow in or near water or in a flooding situation, the knees would slow down the water so that it would drop nutrients. That's the best one I've heard, and I'm sticking with it. I'm standing in a small shaded grassy area, but this isn't grass. This is Cherokee sedge. In the genus Carex. You can see this would make a very nice shade ground cover. Carex cherokeensis. And behind me we have another ilex, Ilex vomitoria. The Yopon holly, which has green berries and keeps its leaves. It is not deciduous, it is evergreen. Ulmus crassifolia, the cedar elm, the most populous tree in Texas. The cedar elm is the only elm to fruit and seed in the fall. Like the winged elm, the cedar elm can have wings as well. Tactile, like a shark skin. Notice the leaves. Another tree along the several miles of paths here at Armand Bayou the sweet gum, liquid amber styraciflua. Notice the star-shaped leaves. It's a giveaway every time. And the spiky seed balls. Physostegia virginiana, the fall obedient plant. How is it obedient? Pose the flower and the flower stays. Schizocrium, little blue stem, one of our 5 apex prairie grasses here at Armand Bayou by the Prairie Platform on the Cartrude Prairie. Right here behind this euphorbia, or snow on the prairie, Muhlenbergia capillary, Gulf muley, ubiquitous to our native prairies. Out here on the Cartrude Prairie by the platform, we're going to plant this in September, October. We find green milkweed, Asclepias viridis. Yes, we all know the sap has a slight toxicity, which makes butterflies, our monarchs, among others, not very tasty and slightly toxic to their predators. Genus Asclepias. On that note, look what I see right over here. Knowing that I've seen some white-top sedge, genus Rhynchospora, I know that we have a wet territory here. We have us a wet patch of ground. So as soon as I see another milkweed, I think aquatic milkweed, perennis. But no, I look closer and I see that we have narrow-leaf milkweed, Asclepias linearis. Never far to look on this rare site, coastal prairie, of less than 1% remaining to find all kinds of diversity. I mentioned planting. We'll be planting some of these. Texas coneflower, Rudbeckia texana. It gets a lot taller than this. Clearly this has been mowed, a common form of maintenance on coastal tallgrass prairies. Here's the white-top sedge I mentioned earlier. We noticed this earlier today when we were preparing for our public planting called Prairie Pandemonium. We'll be planting all kinds of forbs, grasses. Please look it up. Come and join us. Prairie Pandemonium, October 24th. Here we are in McGovern Garden, a collection of native plants, cultivars, and some other arboretum specialties, treats for the nature lover. Above me is a willow oak, the ubiquitous, short-lived oak of our region. Quercus Bellows. Prunus mexicana, the Mexican plum. ID'd easily by this very specific bark. Notice the leaves. Over to our left, a citrus, a trifoliate orange. Used as rootstock, not native to Asia. Here we have the possum haw, Ilex decidua. Might let you know it's deciduous. It drops its leaves and is left only with red berries. Ilex, when you hear ilex, think holly. Possum haw, holly. Still in the McGovern garden, here's a small stand of dwarf palmetto, our sable minor. Frequently known to be near a wet footprint. Still in the McGovern garden, here we have Turk's cap, Malvaviscus arborens, family Malvaceae. It's very interesting. Think hibiscus, wine cups, okra. This is a shady shrub, a hummingbird attractor.